Welcome to another edition of How I Would Book It, WCW 1998. This is another big event in the calendar year of WCW because this is Spring Stampede. And we are live in Vince's backyard as we kick the show off with Eric Bischoff calling out Kevin Nash after Eric Bischoff saw Kevin Nash's backstage meeting of sorts with president of the WCW Championship Committee, Tully Blanchard. Eric calls out Kevin for one reason and one reason only, and we find out right now. Eric Bischoff tells Kevin that he knows the reason why he went to Tully Blanchard is to find a tag team partner. But Kevin can't find a tag team partner because nobody in WCW wants to team with him. Well, I would have Eric say you, not him. And Eric would also continue to add, Kevin, if you think that Tully Blanchard is going to bring back your old partner, you're crazier than your old partner. Scott Hall got fired fair and square 2 months ago when he lost to Sting. And you can't do anything about it, and neither can Tully Blanchard. Look, Eric, you might be right. You might be right that I was going to ask for Scott's job back. But fact is, the only reason why he got his job, why he got fired in the first place, is because of the fact that you, Eric, don't know what it's like to have somebody object to you, because all you do is kiss Hulk Hogan's ass 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, every waking moment of your day. And you know what? You can't face facts that me and Scott objected to you. And you can't, and you don't know how to handle it. You don't think I know how to handle it, Kevin? How about this? You compete in the match that Davey Boy Smith was supposed to compete in before he tucked his tail between his legs and showed his true colors and walked away. How about you take on Kurt Hennig and Bryan Adams later tonight in a handicap match and see how I handle people objecting to the president of this company? I'm sorry. I was responding to a text. Sorry. Let me get to this first. The Ultimate Dragon retained his Cruiserweight title in a Cruiserweight triple threat match against Chavo Guerrero and Alex Wright. Kevin Nash is seen backstage once again, walking into the office of the WCW Championship Committee representative, Tully Blanchard. Once again, like last week on Nitro, we don't hear, we just see. And now we move to the interview position with Mean Gene Okerlund standing by with Diamond Dallas Page, and the extent of Diamond Dallas Page's interview is this. He says, Raven, I've waited for months to get my hands on you, and now, finally, I'm gonna get my hands on you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. No Flock, no Kimberly, nobody is gonna keep me from getting you in that ring and making you feel the bang. But before that, Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho. The reason why Rey Mysterio won is because Chris Jericho is having a certain change of attitude coming up. Now we move to this segment, which is a highlight package of the feud between Diamond Dallas Page and Raven, that has led to the title match tonight, which, as far as I'm concerned, very disappointing, because I expected more from that match. But I guess expecting more from Raven was a stupid decision in the first place. But also, as you can see, with all the interference from the likes of Lodi, Perry Saturn, Kidman, Riggs, etc., either way, Raven is the new United States Heavyweight Champion. And now we move to a backstage segment, which, in all honesty, means nothing now because Buff Bagwell never competed. Now we move to this segment where we see both Bret Hart and Davey Boy Smith making their way through the crowd to find their front row seats to watch the rest of Spring Stampede. And you know what? Nobody expected him to be here. But at least nobody expected it to be both Davey Boy and Bret Hart. Now we move to this segment, which sees Tully Blanchard making his way out to the ring and calling Bret Hart into the ring to try and iron things out and try and come to some sort of an agreement. But Bret Hart waves off Tully Blanchard and says no. And now we move to the announce position where Bobby Heenan, Dusty Rhodes, and Tony Schiavone talk about the upcoming contest between the WCW Television Champion, Chris Benoit, and the Psycho One, Sid Vicious. And Sid Vicious is victorious against Chris Benoit, as would you have expected anything else? But fact is, something will come of it. I promise you that. Because the next segment is this. Roddy Piper bum rushes the ring and attacks Chris Benoit, who is barely able to stand after taking 2 power bombs from the nearly 7-foot tall Sid. But Roddy Piper bum rushes the ring because he knows Double A ain't gonna come out. He knows Flair ain't gonna come out. So him and Sid take advantage of Chris Benoit, and they leave Chris Benoit down and out in the ring. And Benoit looks like he's hurt, sort of like they did a couple weeks ago to Ric Flair. And that leads to Greg Valentine, Sid Vicious, and Roddy Piper celebrating in the ring after they see the attack that they did on Benoit. And now we move to the streak match between Goldberg and Glacier. And this match, by the way, was one of the worst streak matches thus far. The worst one was 2 weeks ago, or last week, with Van Hammer, which led to Van Hammer getting demoted to developmental. Which, yes, in this game you can actually have a developmental. And now we move backstage Hulk Hogan is seen talking to someone on his phone, and we don't know who it is, but it sounds intriguing, and the mystery is going to keep us talking. At least not tonight. Kevin Nash defeated Bryan Adams and Curt Hennig by disqualification when Buff Bagwell and Rick Rude both ran in, and it became 4-on-1 on Big Sexy. As the NWO's numbers games keep coming up. And now we move in and see Roddy Piper, Sid Vicious, and Greg Valentine with Gene Okerlund, and all Gene Okerlund asks is, why? And Roddy takes the mic away from Gene and says, Gene, why is a stupid question. Why? Because Ric Flair is exactly what's wrong with WCW. Have you been backstage? Have you worked behind the camera? Do you know how misleading it is that everything is all nice and all together in WCW? How misleading that is, because everything is not together. Everything is not good. Everything is not how it seems. This company is falling apart. And I, Sid Vicious and Greg Valentine, pin the blame for that on people like Flair, who can't let go. He isn't the man he used to be. We never changed because he held us back from changing. And he held us back from becoming the stars we were meant to be. Sid Vicious should have been a world champion. Greg Valentine could have been in the spot of Ric Flair, but because Ric Flair had friends in high places, that didn't happen. And me? Well, Ric Flair has always been jealous of Roddy Piper, and now it's just coming out. Flair, Benoit, Arn, respect has nothing to do with it. The numbers will never be on your side. And now we move to the broadcast position with Mike Bobby. That's Tony. Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, and Dusty Rhodes as they talk about the upcoming contest between the two behemoths of WCW in Mike Awesome and the Giant. And the Giant is victorious against Mike Awesome. Apparently they have terrible chemistry with each other, but the Mike Awesome comes up short due to a botched interference from Vincent. And yes, you might say, you're pushing Mike Awesome, yet you had him lose his first match to the Giant on pay-per-view. Yes, botched interference. It's Vincent's fault. It's Vincent's fault. I protected Mike Awesome. I protected his integrity. I protected his monster outlook, perspective, whatever the heck you want to call it. It doesn't matter. Either way, Mike Awesome was protected. And that led to this. Mike Awesome beating the crap out of Vincent and leaving him completely destroyed in the middle of the ring because of what happened. And now we move to the main event as Sting comes down with the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, ready for the main event of the evening. And as these two men enter the ring, we turn it over to Michael Buffer, who would say something like this. It is now time for the main event of the evening. Philadelphia, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble. Introducing from Pensacola, Florida, the challenger. He is Macho Man Randy Savage. And from Venice Beach, California, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. This is Sting. I hope you enjoyed my impressionable or my impersonation of a WCW ring announcer, and I hope you enjoyed my pre-match announcing. Now let's get to the match. As you can see, Randy Savage defeated Sting. And Randy Savage is the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And all I gotta say is, surprise! Bet you didn't see that coming, did you? Well, apparently I did a crappy. The ratings for the show were pretty bad, but I still gained in popularity. And the general feeling is I don't have enough interesting storylines going on. Well, I knew that coming in, and I guess what I did didn't help. Well, fact of the matter is, Raven and Paige disappointed. And well, the tag team championships, the tag team titles don't have a lot of direction. I expected a lot more from Eric and Kevin, but whatever. The game obviously thought the show was average. Let me know what you thought of the show. How'd you like the pay-per-view? Drop a comment down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the video. To the channel rather. Don't just subscribe to the video. I don't think you actually can do that. Well, you can like the video, but whatever. You know, all that jazz. And for more content just like this, you can only find it in one place, and that is Wrestling Express. Until next time.